Hmm. This is a trickier one to talk about. So, I thought of this just the other day where I was saying to myself, everyone has a least favorite type of film. Everyone has a least favorite film in general. And I realized to myself, I'm like, there's kind of a more interesting look to it because it's always subjective, whatever it is. So this could be something that you are in a complete opposite market for. But at the same time, it's a very different kind of trope. This isn't like, I don't like body horror, or I don't like the romantic comedy, or I don't like XYZ subgenre. For me, I think my least favorite, which is a weird way to even think about it, is just movies that everyone loves, everyone has high praise for, and it just doesn't click for me. Now, this can be a variation of things. It could be like, oh, your boyfriend said that, you're all men, your girlfriend said that Oppenheimer was great. Okay, that doesn't work, does it? Okay, subjectively here, let's put into a false reality. You're a girl. You like movies, but you don't really care that much for them. And suddenly your boyfriend's like, you gotta see Oppenheimer. It's the greatest cinematic achievement. And you go to the IMAX because your boyfriend's mental. You sit there in a 70mm projection for 3 hours. You get out of it and you're like, man, that was a lot of talking, wasn't it? So a movie that everyone, or the universal everyone in terms of just the majority of people, claim as a masterpiece. Cinema, what is it that Scorsese says? Fuck the MCU. Outside of that, but that kind of thing where everyone loves this. The majority of people love that. When I say everyone, I just mean majority of people. The most vocal people will say that they love that. And there are films like that where you have this anticipation. You go into it, especially someone like me, arguably cinephile, who loves movies and loves seeing different experiences of different kinds of narratives and storytelling, performances, all that kind of stuff. And going into a film that I've heard is amazing, outstanding film, 10 out of 10, and just not having the same experience that everyone else has had with the movie. And most of the time, this is with popular modern cinema that I get, where I'll go and see a film that everyone's been crazy going about with, like, whether it's just come out or whether it's been going around the film circuits, film festivals and whatever, because that's how they sometimes have to get into bigger markets, is bam, everyone loves this movie, everyone is going crazy for this film, 5 stars all across the board, everyone who says negatively is just a naysayer, they don't understand this cinema. And then I watch it and I'll be like, yeah, maybe it is a bit overhyped. Maybe it's like I can see the good qualities in the film. Sure, it's fine, it's good. It's not a bad film. I've seen bad movies. This is not a bad movie. But am I okay with the fact that on Letterboxd I'm giving it 3 to 3.5 stars when everyone else is giving it 4.5 to 5? Am I missing something? Is there something wrong with me as a person where I'm not seeing this film as the greatest achievement in cinema since the last greatest achievement in cinema? That was 2 days ago, and then the one before that, which was maybe 3 days before that. I have that as an issue with modern cinema, but I also have an issue with just really all of cinema, because I obviously have a vast library of films in my catalogue. I watched I Walked with a Zombie last year, the Criterion release, and this was one of those films that everyone considers a masterpiece of cinematic achievement, of horror. It would be the equivalent of, I guess you could say, 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is, unfortunately, for me, a film I actually love. So it's a bad example, but like that kind of thing where, you'll have all the people with their, all the actors and directors at the red carpet where Letterboxd interviews them for their top 4, and they always say 2001: A Space Odyssey. And everyone's like, oh, they always say 2001. Can't they say anything actually fun? And then they'd say, like, I don't know, Shallow Hal, and everyone fucking loses their mind. But you have that, and it's like, for me, it was the horror version of, like, 2001: A Space Odyssey, where for me, 2001, I had the benefit of, I grew up with it, and I loved it, and have always loved it since I grew up watching it. There arguably is definitely things you could say negatively about the film. Man, those apes are on screen for a fucking long time. How about we just skip that part and get to where things are actually space and it looks fucking awesome, Reasonable argument. But for me, it was, with, at least recently, I Walked with a Zombie, and I was watching, I'm just like, this isn't really clicking for me. Like, am I in the wrong atmosphere? Am I in the wrong mindset? Am I too tired? Should I have not watched this on a Thursday where I've basically had 4 straight days of work and now I'm at the end of my work week, my regular work week at least, and then I'm just like, man, I'm tired. Why the fuck am I watching a 70-minute long horror film that's in black and white? Maybe because it's considered a cinematic masterpiece. And also I could double feature it with The Seventh Victim because I had both in one set. Thank you, Criterion. And the thing was, too, is that, like, I juxtaposed the two, and I watched them both one after the other, and I preferred The Seventh Victim over I Walked with a Zombie. But the thing is that I can see why people love the film. Because, again, there's also that kind of disconnect. You can either see it objectively, oh, I can see why people find this to be a cinematic, landmark. It's rich in its themes, it has a very interesting visual style. It's something so unique and brilliant of its time that's just, even today, is either utterly creepy or just utterly captivating. Like, there's something about it that you can see that it's there. Like you're looking at it, and that's the thing that everyone loves, and you're just sitting back like, yeah, but everyone else is fucking licking at its heels, and I'm just standing here like, yeah, I understand, I see it. I respect it for what it is, and I understand the qualities that it has, but then I just don't love it. I just don't find that emotional connection. I don't find that, oh my god, this is everything. I'm gonna strip naked and sleep with it, I'm having some weird fucking examples of, like, things today, aren't I? Bit dramatic of me, but you get what I mean. Like, I'm not gonna be worshipping this movie, even though I can understand visually or whatever that it has a lot of strength and merit and importance. I can see that if I Walked with a Zombie. I thought about it days after. I'm still thinking about it now, which is also something that doesn't happen to me, where I'm still thinking about a film after I've watched it. But it comes back to me every once in a while. Not a striking element like, man, that scene was captivating, but more of a, yeah, no, I still don't love the movie. I've also lent the film out to a friend, so I have to wait till I can get it back to rewatch it to completely reanalyze it. But at the same time, maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset for it. Maybe I wasn't, and you don't know. You never know if you're going to be in the right mindset for a film. You're really excited for a film, you've been wanting to watch it for years, you finally get around to it, and you're like, yeah, maybe I was just a bit tired today. I don't know, something just was off. I wasn't there, I wasn't in the movie, I wasn't in the moment. I don't understand why I can't connect to it. I don't know, maybe I just watched too many movies. But at the same time, I could connect to a lot of them, and then I could just have a whole period where I'm just got nothing. But I know that I see these films as good quality films, but I'm just not loving them. And everyone I follow is going fucking head over heels for it. I'm like, I'm just not clicking with it today. I'll try it again another day, which I usually say because I have a physical version of the film and can always revisit it and reappreciate it. Something I also love about something like Criterion, where they'll have all these supplements like commentaries and interviews and whatever, documentaries that break into every little element of it. And it helps you to kind of fundamentally understand what the film is on so many levels, and you can use that as a way to sway yourself into, okay, yep, you've convinced me, I can see it now, because sometimes you need that extra, that extra step. Sometimes there's a safeguard in your way, just stopping you from appreciating what there is, because you're missing a vital piece of information. But at the same time, maybe you don't need that vital piece of information. Like, I adore Challenges, which I watched last year, obviously, people did, came out last year, and for me, I've watched it 3 times, and never once have I really thought to, like, just look into, like, all the different character tropes and elements. Like, there are things I still love about it, and I just usually just love the energy of it. I find it funny, I find it, like sexy, I find it exhilarating. It's just a hell of an experience. And yet I saw a Reddit thread the other day pop up, and it was just like, oh, which character do you sympathize with the most? And I'm like, I never even considered that. I've seen the movie 3 times now, and I'm not on anyone's side. But then at the same time, maybe I am during the moment, Maybe in the moment I'm on that person's side, but in the moment I'm also on that person's side. But also I'm an objective person. I'm an outside observer. I'm watching cinema. I'm watching these people's lives unfold, fictional or otherwise, and being like, yeah, I understand what that's like. I've never experienced it personally, or maybe I have, and I just don't want to talk about it on a YouTube video. I don't know. But yeah, so my least favorite type of film is just that. It's just the type of film where I just don't connect to it the way that everyone else does. Where you'll see everyone giving it 5 stars on IMDb or Letterboxd, usually Letterboxd because it's super fucking subjective. And I'm just sitting here like, it's just a 3-star film. Like, I actually bumped up. I gave fucking I Walked with a Zombie 3 stars when I first watched it. In my video where I was what I watched in December, I think it was, maybe what I watched in November. I think it was what I watched in November. Either way, in one of those videos where I talk about it, I bumped it up to 3.5 stars because I also had a film that was kind of a piece of shit that I gave 3 stars. I'm like, there's no fucking way that these are both 3-star films. Like, they're clearly not. I just haven't, for me, I just haven't clicked with the part of the film that I needed to for I Walked with a Zombie. But then the other film that was 3 stars, I'm like, there's no way these are on the same level. There's such a gargantuan gap. But that's also where film criticism, just in general, with given star ratings to thing, is so needless in its own right. I'll give Scooby-Doo, the movie from 2002, 5 stars, and everyone will be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But then I'll be like, yeah, I gave Oppenheimer 4 stars. Like, got to circle it back to the start of the video. But at the same time, that's a thing, where I think I actually did give Oppenheimer 4 stars. I might have given it 4.5 eventually. But, it's also like Dune. I didn't connect with Dune the first 2 times I watched it. Everyone's going crazy for it. I'm like, look, I appreciate it. It's a good film. I gave it 4 stars. It's fine. Bit slow in the middle, but it's fine. But then I watched it here, like a week before the sequel came out. I was watching it in my theater room. Had no one home. Perfect day to watch it. Had the 4K on. The whole atmospheric experience. And it clicked for me. And finally, I was like, man, this film is fucking awesome. But you know what the irony is? When I went and saw Dune Part 2 a week later, didn't really care that much. I was like, yeah, it's good. It's arguably better than the first one, but it didn't have me on that same feel. But maybe I'm thinking at the same time, yeah, obviously, I watch it again in a year or so, I will think, this is amazing. I do think it's an amazing film, but I'm also be like, I will be in love with the film by that stage. Rewatching it in my own time in my own home cinema, despite the fact that, again, there's no IMAX ratio on the 4K, because fuck physical media, I guess. I don't fucking know. But yeah, it's like, at the same time, you also have to be honest with yourself, and I think just honest with people in general. Like, I have to say in a review for a fucking 1940s zombie film, that's not even a fucking zombie film, because it's the voodoo version of zombies, so it's not even the now what we know as zombies kind of film. And I have to be in my review to say, hey, I'm giving this 3 stars because I think it's alright, but I just didn't click with it. Don't kill me. Someone like me who loves horror cinema, and I can't connect with a film that came out almost 100 years ago. It happens, And yeah, I think it's just that kind of factor of, we just kind of have to have that understanding of not everyone's going to love the film that you love. Like, I mentioned that I love challenges. There are people who didn't love challenges. There are people I follow who hated challenges. One of the people I'm friends with on Letterboxd, they gave it half a star when they first watched it. Not once did I think, you can't message people on Letterboxd to my knowledge, but I never once thought, I should message this person and berate them. No, I didn't even consider commenting. I was like, nah, fuck it. If they didn't love the film, they didn't love the film. But the second time they watched it, they gave it 2.5 stars. Ooh, it's getting to them. 5 more watches and they'll love it, we're almost there. Probably not 5, but you know what I mean. But that's just the thing. Like, there will be cinema that I love and that I'll watch and be like, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And then I'll have people who are sitting right next to me who at the end of the movie be like, yeah, it's alright. Two of my friends saw Hundreds of Beavers with me and they were just like, yeah, it's alright. Me crying, laughing, loving, and they're just like, yeah, it was funny, but it's not our kind of humor, So it's like, it's all subjective in the end. And that's the thing, where it's the power of, it's more the group mentality, the fact that everyone is subjectively loving this film, and I'm just on the outskirts like, I want to be with you guys, but it's just not there for me yet. Give me some time. I might never watch it again. That time might never come, but I might watch it in a year, a month, 6 months, something like that. I know someone who watches sometimes movies several times in a year until it clicks. Sometimes they just liked it the first time, they really liked it the second time, and that's 3 months later, and then a year later they love it. Sometimes they will watch a film and then 7 or 8 years later they'll watch it again and be like, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. This is an amazing film. It's just something something just didn't connect and now it has, you know? Sometimes it takes time to process and to understand and connect with things. I know that Guillermo del Toro had made a tweet about a certain film that he has loved the more and more each time he's watched it, but because he's connected with more levels to it. He had watched it in his youth and he didn't love it, but then by the time he became an adult, and especially when he became a parent, I think he's a dad. Anyway, when he became an adult, at least, he started to connect with it. Pretty sure he's got kids, but if it's that example of like, oh, the main character has kids, whatever, and you don't relate to it when you're younger, but then when you're older and you have your own kids, you relate to it and you start understanding what that film is actually talking about because you can be in that position of the main character. Otherwise, you're in the position of a younger character or someone who's not actually that important to the actual narrative, you know? So, yeah, but at the same time, you don't always have to relate to every single character on screen. You don't have to be the same as the protagonist. You know, me, the white guy, doesn't have to relate to the black guy on screen. But if their experience and the way it's being told is just that interesting and just that captivating, then fuck, yeah, maybe Moonlight is a 5-star movie. What the fuck am I talking about? You know? So, yeah. Again, it's a strange one to have to kind of bring up, and I think just the reality of it is because we're so engulfed with discussions and online forums and constant reviewing and posting and posting and posting and posting that you want people to like what you like and you want to like what they like, but then you also realize that sometimes there's just that disconnect. You just haven't found the step that gets you to where they're at, and that's perfectly fine. I can be okay with the fact that my friends didn't like Hundreds of Beavers. I can be okay with the fact that a lot of people don't like Trap, the Shyamalan film. I can understand this stuff. There is perspectives here that I completely understand. Not everything is for everyone, and that's kind of where you get to it. But it becomes more of a personal dig at me when I realize that all my friends who I have a lot of the same taste of films in love this particular piece of history, especially horror history of High Walk with a Zombie, and it just doesn't connect with me as much. I'm just sitting here like, I'm a bit tired. I kind of want to sleep. I might doze off, you know? But then, you know, I look at it later on and I'm like, I can understand what makes it such a culturally relevant film, but it just doesn't have that connection for me. But again, it could, upon rewatch, I might watch it again and be like, yeah, fuck it, I was wrong the first time. I found that missing step, and that's sometimes what I have to look for on a second watch for a film. Sometimes I just hate the film more. That's happened before. Godzilla King of the Monsters, every time I watch it, I dislike it more. It's crazy. I loved it the first time I watched it. I just haven't had that experience ever since then. I'm never going to get that experience back. 2019, in the cinemas, pre-pandemic, in Japan on my second day there, and I'm watching a Japanese adaptation into an American horror Godzilla movie. Like, obviously it's not a Japanese version, it's the American version, but I'm still like, oh, this is just amazing, you know? I'm never going to have that experience again, but it's fine. I still watched the film several times and have just not liked it ever since then, but it's fine. Maybe it's just actually not that good of a film. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, that's all. Let me know your least favorite type of film, and am I just fucking crazy? Bye.